All right, so you'll hear that, Curtis, you need to communicate
A
more
lot
so
of
people.
couples in relationships react to things, and they go through the relationship reacting and and defending themselves. And what you find is that because of the breakdown in communication, or the lack of the existence of communication, is there's a lack of safety. And by safety, I mean feeling safe to talk to the person. Not that they will hit you or do you anything, but that they won't listen or accept or respect your viewpoints, or deal with your vulnerabilities and your viewpoints and your requests in an empathetic and loving manner. And so people just kind of stop even trying to talk things through. And then when they reach a point where it's been breaking down for a while and it's really hanging on by a string, that's when they come to us.
Yes.
And Madonna, what they said was actually very key. It's not just communicating more, it is communicating more effectively, because we can spend a lot of time talking to each other and yet not having effective communication. And I think that is the key to avoid the breakdown within couples, the effective communication. So even though we have to deal with some issues that might be tough, might be difficult to have, we have to deal with it because it is to the benefit of the relationship as a whole.
Wow.
But can you, this is just a question, can you go from no communication to effective communication?
Not overnight, but yes, of course, certainly, definitely. That's what I work on mostly with couples. So first, developing that safety in the relationship to talk, expressing that acceptance, actually listening. One of the techniques I tend to use with couples a lot is okay, you have a minute. When you pick an argument, pick something, you talk for a minute, you listen. Before you respond, when that minute, you have a whole minute. Even if you finish in that minute, everybody stays quiet, let your minute pass, right? Before you respond, you need to repeat to her what you understood from what she said, and she has to endorse it. Otherwise, she has to repeat it. Because a lot of time, and then you can talk for a minute and vice versa. A lot of times, I can't tell you how many times I will sit with a couple, you will say exactly what you need of Madonna. And then when I say, Madonna, do you understand what he said and what he needs? Well, what I was thinking is, okay, maybe, but do you understand? But he said so, and it completely missed it because you're listening and you're waiting to respond. He said something that triggered you, and you hold on to that and you're just waiting for him to stop talking so you could respond. And most of the time, what you find is that if you had heard what he said or heard what he needed and what he wanted in the relationship, one, a lot would change at home. And two, you would be able to respond to him accordingly, and he would feel heard and understood. And then we would have, and then when we actually keep breaking it down until we start listening to each other, then you find that emotions settle, defenses settle, people start saying, okay, well, I understand this is what my wife needs. And when you come back to me, I hold you accountable. So what did you do to improve your relationship this past week? Right? Well, she said she wanted so, and I thought about it. It made sense. I did it, and then I did this, and right. So that is where sometimes you have to deliberately teach people how to communicate, and eventually they won't have to time themselves and stuff. It will be natural to listen and actually listen and not wait to defend yourself, but listen to hear what your partner wants, and then you realize that actually I don't have to defend myself. She's actually kind of on par with this. We actually on par. If I was listening and I wasn't taking the cue, And then the I statements and the you statements and the blame and the finger, lots of things in communication. So you point these things out to people, and that's where the learning effective communication comes from.
I think for me, if I have to say anything, I think these things need to be taught. I think you have to establish like communication, relationship schools and classes, and couples need to really sit down because a lot of is not being implemented because a lot are not being taught. And probably could start with the churches, start in communities and things. I think those are areas that really That is important.
Communicating effectively.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Anything else? That's number one. Any other? That's it.
I think allowing people to be individuals as well. If you are both into relationships that are Velcro, when I say Velcro, it means you ain't seeing me without seeing him, and we constantly think,
like that relationship let's talk about.
Right. I mean, and some couples are like that and are fine. But then there are couples who, again, people come from different backgrounds and so on. And there are couples who do need to have their own friends and have a little time apart every now and then. It's healthy and it's fine. And having their individual interests and so on. So you're not feeling like you've completely lost who you are in being enveloped in a relationship. It doesn't work for everybody. So I think it speaks again to really know each other and what each other expects in a relationship or in a marriage before.
Wow, that was a lot. A really great information tonight, and what's up us. Somebody else is saying, I have this friend whom they would have loved at some point in time. I would have considered their best friend, and they would assist them financially and otherwise, and he would do the same if the need arises. And he's in a relationship, but there are boundaries. Does that fall in the same category as gift giving?
They're talking about being the ex that's giving gifts.
Yeah, the friend, the best friend that would assist financially, vice versa, that kind of thing. And now they're in a relationship and there are boundaries. So they want to know if doing that now as well will be considered the whole.
I think in any relationship, I think boundaries got to be respected.
Yeah.
I think when boundaries are crossed, sometimes there's a lot of results coming out of that. So I think boundaries must be respected, even though you all were close before.
Yeah.
And communicate.
And that is always a challenge, and that's where distrust comes in, because I know of persons who would have had that, and therefore, because of the other friendship, sometimes they make that a priority over the relationship, and then that poses a problem. Curtis, somebody else WhatsApp and they want to know what you would do if you're still paying for it and the new boyfriend driving it.
What would you do?
Curtis,
that is not happening.
That is not
happening. That is
no.
Let me make it clear. Now you see, if it is a we are in a
no, a lot of other guys said the same thing.
No, if it is a we are in a relationship currently, and I take out a commitment, a loan commitment, right, while we are in the relationship, it is because I think that we have a future. If halfway during that commitment, you decide that we don't have a future, then I am not going to continue my commitment to the bank because the future is no longer there. So I'm not necessarily going to take back the car, but you need to start to pay the installments, because
that's fair.
As far as I'm concerned, my commitment to our relationship is one of the same as my commitment to the bank because of the vehicle. So if it is that you say, well, all right, you had enough of me, then fine, I'm not going to take back the car, but then continue the payments.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
No, but that's fair. But I'm saying if you did stop the payment and she continued the payments, and then the new gentleman is driving the vehicle, I thought that was what they were asking. How are you stopping that? Because she has now taken over the payments. The car is on her name. How are you?
But normally,
right. But if she takes over the payment, then that's her car.
Yeah, she wants to step up and take over.
But if I have to go into courts for that phone, and there's only your boyfriend calling you on that phone, then
I feel it is still hit.
Well, so we come to like a little closing off for now. Understanding that, relationships is important and learning to how to do it effectively as well.
Yeah.
Especially now more than ever, because, there's a shift and we are not very much into communicating as we would before. So it would be even more a task and a deliberate action to want to communicate verbally, because as everything is going virtual, more and more. So we would really have to push for that to happen. To go with it. How do you all feel about the shift?
I think it's have its plus and its minus. I think family-wise, you are able to spend more time home and studying and all that stuff. I think you get a lot done. I think from that perspective, it was really good. I think those individuals who have businesses and things, I think you saw a lot of people was able to they lose a lot.
Yeah.
And I think
shift on
a lot of shift, and people who had to work and things were not able to work. So although on one side had a plus, it had a minus in terms of other things that have been happening. But I think also in terms of capitalizing on the social media, where you are able now to reach the masses, I think that is critical also. It's something that we need to take advantage of.
Kelly?
Yeah, I think it forced a shift that was coming inevitably, just maybe within a lot more years, but it forced us to go to think a lot about being more technological in our businesses and so on. And I think it's a good thing.
All right. Well, thank you for coming and being with us here. Sharing with Trinidad and Tobago. I believe that a lot went out, a lot of good information. Yeah.
Yes.
And I look forward to some more like these. And Curtis, I hope we answered the questions for your friends. Your friends.
Okay, I'll tag him on
your
Facebook.
friend and them.